Do you feel fear when night falls, anxiety, a sense of abandonment? The book of Isaiah 41 verse 10 tells us, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." But if God is with you, why does it sometimes feel like He is so far away? Why does the night come, and with it, the thoughts you tried to avoid all day? The worry about tomorrow, the weight of responsibilities, the fear that things may never change. There are moments when the silence is so loud that it feels like God is not listening. You pray, you speak to Him, but all you receive is silence. And that is exactly where many people begin to believe a dangerous lie, that God has stepped away. But let me tell you something, gently. God does not walk away from you. What changes is not His presence. It is your ability to perceive it. Because when your heart is tired, when your mind is overwhelmed, when pain speaks louder, it becomes harder to see what has always been there. It's like the wind. You don't see it, but it's still there. It's like a mother watching her child sleep, quietly, without making a sound, but fully present. That is how God is. He is with you right now. In this night, in this very moment as you watch this video, searching for peace. And maybe you think, if God is with me, why do I still feel afraid? Because feeling fear does not mean you are alone. It means you are human. But the presence of God is what sustains you even when fear tries to take over. Isaiah 41 verse 10 does not say, "You will never feel afraid." It says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." In other words, fear may knock on your door, but it does not have to stay, because you are not facing this alone. Maybe today was a difficult day. Maybe you tried to be strong all the time, held everything together, handled everything, smiled for everyone. But now, in the silence of the night, the truth appears. The exhaustion, the insecurity, the feeling that you have to carry everything alone. And it is in this moment that God draws near in a different way. Not with noise, not with urgency, but with presence. A presence that calms, even when nothing has changed yet. A presence that says, without words, I am here. And maybe what you needed today was not answers. It was this: to know that you have not been abandoned, that you have not been forgotten, that there is a God who remains by your side, even when you cannot feel Him. So now, if you can, take a deep breath. Slow down your thoughts for a moment. And just remember this: God is here. So, stay here for a few more moments. Take a deep breath once again. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold it for a second. And release it gently. No rush. Again. Breathe. Feel the air coming in, filling your chest, and now leaving, as if, with it, you are releasing the weight of the day. Slow down. Your body doesn't need to rush anymore. Your mind doesn't need to solve everything right now. You don't need to have all the answers in this moment. Just be here. Notice your shoulders. If they are tense, allow them to relax a little. Notice your breathing. Calmer. Lighter. Notice your heart. That may have been racing, beginning to find a more peaceful rhythm. It's okay to slow down. It's okay not to handle everything. You don't have to carry the world on your shoulders alone. Now, in this calmer place, in this space of silence, let me show you something that maybe you've never noticed before. Many times, the feeling of abandonment does not come because God has stepped away. It comes because you are too tired. Tired of trying. Tired of waiting. Tired of being strong all the time. And when exhaustion takes over, it begins to distort the way you see everything, including the way you see God. You begin to think, He is not listening to me. He doesn't care. I am alone. But that is not the truth. That is exhaustion speaking. That is pain trying to convince you of something that is not real. Because the truth is that God does not change. He does not come close one day and walk away the next. He does not take care of you today and abandon you tomorrow. The presence of God does not depend on your feelings. It does not depend on whether your day was good or bad. It does not depend on whether you prayed the right way or whether you felt strong enough. God is still God, and He is still with you. Even now, in this very moment. Maybe you don't feel it. Maybe you don't perceive it. But He is here. And here is one of the biggest lies you need to break today. Backhand index pointing right. If I don't feel God, it means He is not with me. No. Feeling is not proof of presence. And not feeling is also not proof of absence. Think about it. How many times have you gone through something difficult and only later realized you were not alone? How many times did you think you wouldn't make it? And somehow, you did? There was strength you didn't even know you had. There was help that showed up. There were protections you didn't even notice at the time. That was also God. Even when you didn't see it. Even when you didn't feel it. He was there. And He still is. Maybe today, what you needed most was not to feel something intense, but to learn to rest in His truth. Backhand index pointing right. God has not abandoned you. He has not left your life. He has not forgotten you. He has not turned His back on your pain. He is with you, even in the silence. In fact, many times, it is in the silence that He works the most. Because in the silence, He calms what is inside you. In the silence, He strengthens you from within. In the silence, He sustains you, even when you don't realize it. So now, come back to your breathing once again. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe, replace that thought. Instead of thinking, I am alone, begin to say, even quietly, backhand index pointing right. God is with me. Again, backhand index pointing right. God is with me. Even if your mind resists, even if your heart still feels unsure, repeat it. Backhand index pointing right. God is with me. Because truth does not change based on what you feel. Truth remains. And the truth is, God is here, with you, right now. And from here, little by little, you will begin to notice that you don't have to chase peace. Peace begins to find you, asterisk, asterisk. And maybe what has been confusing you the most is not the pain, it's the silence. Because we learn that when someone loves, they speak, they respond, they show themselves. But with God, it's not always like that. And that's why many people give up, right at the moment when God is closest, because they expected noise. And God came in silence. But let me show you something that can change everything for you today. Backhand index pointing right. God's silence is not absence. It is a different form of presence. Think about this. When a child is learning to walk, the mother doesn't hold them all the time. There are moments when she lets go. And when she lets go, the child may even think, "She left me." But no, the mother is right there, watching, ready to catch them, if needed. Silence is not abandonment. It is trust. Now think about something else. When you plant a seed, you don't see anything happen on the first day, or the second, or the third. It seems like there is no life there. It seems like nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, in the unseen, roots are forming, growing, gaining strength, preparing. And if you don't understand this, you might make a mistake. Backhand index pointing right, believing that nothing is happening. But it is. And a lot. That's how God works. There are moments when you don't see, moments when you don't feel, moments when everything seems still. But in the unseen, God is working, arranging things you don't yet understand, strengthening you from within, preparing you for something greater. And here is something very important. Backhand index pointing right, not everything that is silent is still. Think about your heart. It beats all the time, but you don't notice it. You're breathing. It happens without you thinking about it. And yet, it sustains your life. God works like that. Without noise. Without rush. Without needing to prove anything. But sustaining you. Every second. Maybe you asked for an answer, and it didn't come. Maybe you expected a change, and it hasn't happened yet. Maybe you looked around, and everything still seems the same. And that made you think, God is not doing anything. But what if He is? Just in His way? At a pace that doesn't break you. In a timing that prepares you. Because if everything happened instantly, maybe you wouldn't be ready. Maybe you wouldn't have the emotional strength. Maybe you wouldn't be able to handle it. And God doesn't just want to give you something. He wants to sustain you when you receive it. So silence is not punishment. Silence is care. And maybe today, God is not speaking to you the way you expected, but He is sustaining you in ways you don't even realize, protecting you from things you can't even see, guiding you away from paths that could hurt you. And you know what? Backhand index pointing right, if God had truly abandoned you, you wouldn't even have the strength to be here right now. The fact that you are still trying, still searching, still breathing deeply, and looking for peace, is already proof that He is with you. So, instead of interpreting silence as distance, begin to see it as care. Because God doesn't need to be loud to be present. And now, as you are here, maybe for the first time in a long time, a little calmer, a little more present, notice this. Backhand index pointing right, you have not been abandoned. You are being sustained. And the more you slow down, the more you begin to realize He never left your side. And now, if you can, pause for a moment. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to change anything. But if possible, close your eyes and just breathe once again. Breathe in slowly. Hold it for a second. And release it gently. Again. Breathe. And as you breathe, let everything stay outside for a moment. The worries, the problems, the pressures, they won't disappear right now. But you don't need to carry all of that in this exact moment. Now, talk to God in your own way, without perfect words, without needing to know what to say. He already knows your heart. But if you want, I will pray with you. God, in this moment, I come close to you, not with perfection, but with honesty. You know what is inside me. You know my fears, my worries, the anxiety that sometimes tightens my chest. And today, I place all of this before you. Father, take this fear away from me. This fear that comes at night, that takes away my sleep, that makes my mind unable to stop. This fear of tomorrow, of what might go wrong, of what I cannot control. Lord, calm my heart. Take away this anxiety that makes me restless, that makes me overthink, that exhausts me. Teach me to rest in you, even when I don't understand, even when I don't see a way out. Strengthen me for one more night. Maybe today I am tired. Maybe I am at my limit. Maybe I have been strong all day. But now, I need you. Sustain me. Give me peace. Give me rest. May your presence be greater than my thoughts. May your peace fill my heart right now. And little by little, may all this restlessness fade away. God, even when I don't feel it, I choose to believe that you are here with me right now. And I also want to ask you for other people, because I know I am not the only one going through this. There are people right now feeling fear, anxiety, loneliness. So I ask you, reach them too, wherever they are. And if there is someone in my heart right now, someone I love, someone who needs peace, take care of that person as well. And now, if you can, think of someone who needs this prayer. A child, a mother, a friend, someone who is suffering. Place that person now before God. And I want to invite you to do something simple, but very powerful. Backhand index pointing right that person's name here in the comments. Because we are going to form a chain of prayer. And it's not just you. There are other people here, praying too, believing too. And God, He sees, He hears. Lord, look at every name being written here. Every story, every pain, every silent request. You know everything. So bring peace, bring rest, bring relief. And now, before we finish, take one more deep breath, very slowly, and notice your heart calmer, your mind lighter. Maybe nothing has changed on the outside, but something has begun to change inside you. And that is already God at work. Now, after all of this, after you paused, breathed, and calmed your heart, let me ask you honestly, do you still believe that you are alone? Maybe the problem was never the absence of God, but the noise inside you. Thoughts, fears, worries, all speaking so loudly that you couldn't perceive that God was always there. Because God has not lost control of your life. Even when everything feels confusing, even when things don't happen in your timing, even when you don't understand what is happening, Backhand index pointing right. God is still in control. Nothing escapes his hands. Nothing is beyond his care. Nothing happens without him seeing, without him knowing, without him allowing it. And that changes everything. Because it means you don't have to carry this weight alone. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to control everything. You just need to trust. Even without understanding. Even without feeling. Even in the silence. Because while you rest, God works. While you breathe, God sustains. While you sleep, God takes care. And maybe today, the greatest decision you can make is not to fix everything, but to surrender, to let go of control, and trust that He is already taking care of everything. So keep this within you. Backhand index pointing right. God is here. And God is in control. And if this message spoke to you, if in some way it brought peace to your heart, do something simple now. Backhand index pointing right. Write amen in the comments. Not out of habit, but as a declaration of faith. I trust. I surrender. I know God is in control. And carry this truth with you today. You are not alone. And you never were. God is here. And He is in control.